Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Daddy
Daughter
Dance. My name's Tobin Walsh. I'm a parenting author, blogger. You can check out some of my writing at goodbaddad.com. But more importantly than all that, I'm a dad. We talk about stuff about being a dad a lot, and you're a kid, and you are my 10-year-old daughter, Viviana. Say hi to your peeps, Vivi.
Hey, it's magic.
Yeah.
I disappeared and then I appeared again.
Yeah, so not only do we have a show and a podcast, and we write, she's a magician. So congratulations. She's multi-talented, folks. So Vivi's a little bit energetic tonight. I didn't expect you to be because you've had a rough couple days, huh?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, so it's a good lesson for all of us is that sometimes stuff doesn't go our way, but the show must go on, right? So if you're feeling down out there, hopefully the next 20 minutes we can liven you up a little bit with this topic. What's the topic today?
Oh, I knew this. Seasons.
Seasons.
I didn't do research, so I don't really know anything that's going on today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so.
As if you do most of the time.
Yeah.
So if you're new to our show, what we typically do is
I still have my paper, my research paper.
Right.
From another video like weeks ago.
Right. So what we typically do if you're new to us is that we research topics and kind of introduce them to kids and parents in unique ways so they can talk and learn and have some fun along the way. So usually what we do is we hand out topics, or I hand out topics to Vivi that, you know, has to do with something going on in our lives, and she researches.
Wait. I make some of them.
Okay. That wasn't fair, right? We discuss them and we talk about them and then we research and then we come back.
Because sometimes he doesn't like my ideas that I give him because he's Mr. Perfect Pants. He has a whole page of... Wait, let me grab this. He has this whole page of notes that he discovered.
So this whole page of notes...
And I have...
She has 2 words written down and it's her friend's name. So anyways, I'm going to carry the show today. I'm just going to totally carry us today. And Vivi's just going to have fun along the way because sometimes adults get to just kind of spew knowledge. And you guys just kind of absorb it.
Everything my dad's saying.
Well, we'll make it fun. I mean, I think at its face, so this is a perfect example, parents. This is a great example for parents and kids of a topic that we all kind of know generally.
I know one thing. I'm sharing first, but keep going.
Okay, well, let's talk about this. Parents, grab your kids because this is a topic that seemingly might be boring. Like, hey, let's talk about seasons. Oh, yawn. Oh my God, I don't want to talk about that. Let's watch YouTube again. But listen, there's some interesting stuff in here. So I'm going to try to convince you that this stuff is interesting. And I'm going to ask you questions along the way to get you going. So what did you find? You have one thing written down? What did you find?
Well, I don't have it written down. It's in my brain because I learned it in school.
Okay. So let's do this. Okay.
Seasons are created. Wait, what were you gonna say?
Let's do this. Let's be in an organized fashion. So let's talk about your favorite season to get it started.
Wait, what?
Your favorite season of the year.
At the end, but okay.
Yeah.
My favorite season is summer because we have no school, and then it's my birthday.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that's cool.
And there's 4th of July, which is one of my favorite holidays.
Let's do another quick game too. I'm gonna mention the 4 seasons of the year just so we're clear to everybody. And tell me the. I
have a song for that.
Okay, no, we're not gonna do a song yet. What I want to do is I'll say the 4 seasons of the year, and you tell me just what comes to mind. So I'm gonna say the name of the season. You just tell me instantly what comes to your mind. Let's do that. Ready? Fall.
Leaves.
Winter.
Snow.
Spring.
Flowers.
Summer?
No school.
Okay, so a lot of what you have to, the school thing doesn't fit this, but I was thinking most of what you're talking about has to do with weather.
Yeah.
So a lot of people think seasons are affiliated with weather, and I assume a lot of kids might think that weather sort of drives the season. So we have summer because it starts to get hot, and it's actually sort of the opposite. That the time of year dictates what the temperature is, right? We're in Florida, so seasons are a little bit dampened. But let's do this. So Vivi, that's what she thinks of seasons. So let's be clear. There's 4 seasons of the year, no matter where you are.
I don't know what seasons are.
What?
You don't know how seasons are created.
I know. We're gonna get there. But I'm doing the fun stuff first. So the fun stuff is fall, winter, spring, summer. Everybody knows that, right? But does everybody know why that happens, or do you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so why does it happen?
This is the reason I was gonna tell you, but then he started talking over me like he usually does. Okay, so the seasons happen because Earth's axis which is the thing that holds up Earth, and revolvation around the sun, the orbit. Trying to use science talk here, as you can see. The Earth's axis, well, I said that, and like it turns around on it. So the orbit, so it like 1/4 of the, stop! 1/4 of the orbit is winter. Another 1/4 of it is fall. Another 1/4 of it is spring. Another 1/4 of it is summer. So that's how seasons are created, from their orbits. Stop! I googled this, and this is what it said.
All right. Is that so? Can I?
And it's.
Let me know when I can have the floor.
Okay. Wait.
Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
Because I'm going total dad dweeb on you. I'm gonna one up you.
I'm gonna do
Here
this
we go.
again.
Get your science hat on. Let's go. Let's rock. Because it's time to go to school. It's time to go to school, baby.
You're so embarrassed. What are you doing?
All right. You ready?
Yeah.
So I set the scope. It's a little unorthodox, but it works. So listen, rest of the episode, we're going to dad dweeb school, guys.
No, but I have to
listen,
talk too.
so what Vivi is talking about is actually right, in all seriousness.
Why were you doing this then?
Because it's boring. Listen.
Well, I made it as fun as I could, Dad.
Okay, so let's just do this. She's right. The tilted axis of the Earth causes all this variability, right?
Mm-hmm.
So because if there was no axis that was tilted, then we'd all kind of do 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, and then whether you lived in the north or the south, you'd have the same seasons, right? But do you know that's not the case? Because it's tilted, right? In one part of the world, in one part of the globe, it's one way, and in one part it's another way.
Yeah, I knew that. That's why I said Earth's rotation.
Yep.
You didn't know what I meant, but I knew what I meant in my mind.
Okay, well so it's all about the tilt of the Earth. So if somebody says, why do we have seasons? A very easy answer for kids or parents would be because the Earth's tilted and it's not straight, right?
Straight would be like this.
Now this is the
Tilted
cool stuff.
would be
This is where I'm going to start dweebing out. And this is where everybody sort of will lose it. So do you know why the Earth is tilted in the first place?
Yeah.
Why?
For the seasons.
No. No. Listen. There was some. This is cool. This is like the stuff that like turns boring topics into cool stuff. Dad dweeb time for sure. But you're gonna learn something here. There's a thing called Theia, Theia. Google it. Theia, I think.
Theia.
Which was basically an enormous body in space that slammed into Earth and tilted it on its axis a long time ago, right? You know, and it was such an impact to Earth. It was 100 times the impact of that made dinosaurs extinct. Isn't that cool?
I like dinosaurs.
So think about it. The Earth used to be straight, and now it's like this because of this Theia stuff.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
Theia.
I'm not sure. I've said it 4 different ways. Google it. Theia.
Theia.
The other thing that's cool about that. So another thing that's cool about that whole deal is the remnants after it slammed into Earth. The remnants. Guess what they did?
What?
They basically.
Wait.
Just looking at my notes.
Oh, okay.
All right, so basically they basically are dust and mold, rock and just garbage, basically formed the moon.
I know.
That's pretty cool, right? So
Yeah.
all of this is due to this
guess
Theia
what?
hitting the Earth, tilting its axis, forming our moon, and now we have seasons.
I put
Isn't that
trash
cool?
on the moon. I went to the moon and put a flag of trash. So I had a toothpick. I stuck it into the moon, and I put a piece of trash on it.
What?
I put a tree.
I don't understand. What did
So I went to the moon.
like in your dreams?
No, for real. Listen, I went to the moon. I had a toothpick. It's the only reason I went. And I had a piece of trash.
You're making up a story, right?
No.
Okay, let's move on. Okay, so here's what I'll say. So again, the idea that the Earth is tilted causes seasons, and it also causes a cool phenomenon where in the Northern Hemisphere. So if you split the Earth in half, the top part is called the Northern Hemisphere.
Yeah.
So the part at the bottom is called
Northern Hemisphere.
What's the next part called?
The Southern Hemisphere.
Southern Hemisphere. So that's important because if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, basically our counterparts in the Southern Hemisphere are the exact opposite season. So when we're in winter here, what are they?
Summer.
Summer, okay? And fall and spring are reversed as well because of the tilt of the earth causes it to be that way.
It's basically fall and summer, half of the year, and spring and summer.
Yeah.
Wait, fall and winter, spring and summer.
Okay, and then the other thing too, so parents and kids listen up, Dad, do we have time here? The other thing that I thought was true and is not, is that summer, it's hot in the summer because we're closer to the sun. Did you know that?
Yeah.
You knew that?
Yeah.
It's actually that we get more direct sun rays. So at any...
What do you think?
Because did you know that the rotation around the sun isn't exactly the same distance all the time?
Yeah. Some planets have bigger ones.
No, and so does Earth. It's not quite a circle. So we're not necessarily closest to the sun at summer, but we get the most direct sunlight.
Yeah.
So if you think of that tilting ball going around something that's fixed, you kind of understand in your mind like why we would get the most direct sunlight.
Yeah.
So then why do places like Florida not have, we're from Iowa, so we live the full range of the seasons drastically, right? Where it went from 0 degrees to 100. Why not in Florida? Go ahead.
Okay. You called on me?
Yeah.
Okay. He's my teacher now. Because he's teaching me things. It's so, Iowa is the Northern Hemisphere, and then Florida is the Southern.
No, we're both in the Northern.
Oh, okay. Wait,
but
no,
you're on the right track,
Earth,
though. You're on the right track.
North in Earth, north part of Earth, and south. Well, yeah. Well, I don't get it. But
So, again, okay, let's start here. Let's decode it.
And Iowa gets the season directly hits them.
Okay, so let's start with a question. Do you know what separates the Northern and Southern Hemisphere?
Yeah.
What?
The equator.
The equator. That's awesome, man. Wow.
Dad, I'm not dumb.
So, kid, I know, but these things just come to mind. So the equator is a separating line, right? So as closer you are to the equator, the hotter you are, right? And that's just how it is. And so Florida is closer to the equator than Iowa. Right. The hotter you are in summer, I should say.
So basically, South America also doesn't get snow.
Right. So
it's really close.
So basically, it's all about where you are to the equator, not that you're closer to the sun or farther from the sun.
I know that because that's the Earth.
Okay.
The whole Earth.
Well, let's talk about some concepts. So while I was studying the seasons, so I guess you could say, hey, we have seasons because the Earth's tilted. Game over. Showstopper. Mic drop. Right. See ya. Peace out. See you next week. But there's some cool concepts that I don't even know if you're aware of, but I definitely wasn't aware of. I've heard the words, but I never knew what they were until just now. Have you ever heard of a solstice?
No.
Okay, so check this out. So solstice, I've heard before, but it's like the context I've always heard it in is like people celebrating the solstice and like doing crazy dances and stuff. And I never understood what it was. I thought it was like praying to the sun. You know what it is? It's when the sun reaches its highest point, either northern or southern. That's called the solstice. And it typically kicks off one of the seasons. So if it's farther north, the farthest south point it reaches kicks off winter. North part is summer.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool? So like in the summer, when it's solstice, that's the longest day of the year.
Longest?
Like you have the most daylight.
Like how?
In the summer, you could have daylight from 6 in the morning, depending on where you live, till 8:30 at night. But in the winter, do you remember in the winter, you could only have daylight. Let's say it doesn't get light until 8:30 Eastern time, and it's dark by 5:30 Eastern time.
Well.
And that would be the winter solstice.
So we're close to winter.
Yeah.
And ours is like 7:30 maybe.
So again.
Until about like 8:30 at night probably.
Yeah, and I know this is really dweeby stuff, but I've always heard the word solstice, never understood what it was until now. It's pretty cool. So it basically refers to the position of the sun at any one time.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool? And then, so going along with that, there's also something called equinox. I know you've heard that term before. No, equinox, not aquanaut. Equinox, and it's a car too, which is crazy. Do you know what that is?
No.
So that's basically when the sun is directly over the equator. And basically does is makes the day and the night have the exact same amount of hours. And it happens twice a year.
I don't mean like what you mean, like it's the sun's in Earth.
No. The sun is directly over the equator. So the rotation of the tilted Earth, right, hits the equator at a certain point twice a year. And those are equinoxes. And there's one in fall and there's one in spring. And one's called autumn equinox and the other one's called like vernal equinox or something like that. Isn't that pretty cool?
Cool.
And it means that the days and the nights are the exact same amount of hours. So I guess 12 hours each in a 24-hour day. Right? That's super cool, right? So I know it's kind of dweeby, but you know, you can impress friends with that knowledge someday. And you never know, maybe you'll be on Jeopardy one day and say, hey, what's an equinox? And you can win. Now, other stuff, cool stuff I've learned. So, again, some of these, let's go over dates of seasons, at least for this year. The reason this topic came up is because on the news the other day, we had talked about that the fall had just started this week. It started on September 23rd at precisely 3:50 a.m. So that's pretty, that's interesting fact. That's all from the Farmer's Almanac too. So then in winter, do you have any idea when winter would start? So again, we're in Florida, so we really don't feel the stuff, but it doesn't mean we don't have it.
No, November 28th.
Okay, that's not too bad. I always remember it's really by Christmas. So it's this year it's the 21st of December at 11:19 p.m. So isn't that cool? So what that would mean is at 11.
What day? 21st.
The 21st. So
we're gonna be back from our cruise then.
Yeah. You know what that technically means? Is that is the day at which there is the winter solstice. So that's where the sun is at its southernmost point.
Yeah.
The shortest day of the year. Okay? And then spring, any guess for that? It's in March. What do you think?
March 18th.
Oh, close. March 20th, 2020
I was gonna say 20.
Again, 11:49 p.m. And remember, spring is all about equinox.
I know what summer.
Yep. And summer is? It's in June.
Wait, I knew.
She was gonna say June. I'll give her credit for that. Sorry.
June. Is it higher than my birthday?
Yes.
20th? Because I feel like.
Yes, it's June 20th. You must have saw my notes at 5:43 p.m.
I knew it was in June.
So, and these dates change every year. So, I mean, by not very much, like 1 or 2 days, depending. But it's kind of an interesting fact. As a kid, I always remember hearing, it always feels like we're already in the season when they say the official start of fall just happened, and you're going like, oh, it feels like fall already. Or winter, especially when I was a kid, it was like, dude, it's been cold for like 2 months now. What are you talking about? So now you know, right?
Winter started like last year.
Yeah, because I think kids, am I right, that kids basically connect season. When you talk about seasons with kids, you're talking about either weather or holidays, right?
Yeah.
So you think fall, Halloween, winter, Christmas, spring, Easter, summer, 4th of July.
Yeah.
Or you think hot, cold, windy, breezy, leaves. So it's interesting. Like, this is actually like scientific stuff that they figured out.
And nerdy stuff.
And then lastly, last dad nerd thing, and I think it's kind of cool because I'm just a fan of traveling all over the place. Have you ever heard me talk about or reference Stonehenge?
No.
So
wait, yes.
Okay, it's like this
from your notes.
Yeah, it's a monument in England, and they've always it was made over 5,000 years ago. It's enormous, like it looks like statues, but they're just huge rocks. I bet if I showed you a picture, you would know. So Google Stonehenge if you're with your kids and show them. There's a theory about this that connects with the seasons where the entrance of, they've never known what it was for, right? This monument that people go see, it's world renowned, been there 5,000 years, so it must have been important, and they never know what it was for. And what they've seen is through all this research about seasons is it's a really accepted hypothesis, they're saying, that Stonehenge was built to manage time and to see what time of the year it was because its entrance faces exactly where summer solstice is.
Yes.
Did you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like in times where you didn't have watches and calendars or anything like that, you knew what season it was because you went to Stonehenge and saw the sunset.
Yep.
Isn't that cool? Do you think? So let's review a little bit. So seasons aren't holidays and weather, okay? Although holidays are in the seasons and weather changes during the seasons. What are seasons caused from, Vivi?
Earth's axis rotation.
Yep.
And the orbit around the sun.
Yep. And does it matter where you live, north or south?
No.
But does it matter what hemisphere you live in?
Yes.
And if it was winter in where we live, where would it be in the southern hemisphere?
Summer.
So if you're going on a trip to, like, let's say Panama in December, you would pack what?
Summer clothes.
Swimsuits, right? But if you're going to Colorado from Panama, you'd be skiing and trudging through snow, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's pretty cool. And then the equator has something to do with heat and why we don't have seasons in places or less drastic seasons. Stonehenge is involved. And then, do you remember what a solstice is?
Yes. It's a day. The longest day in
The
the
longest
year.
or shortest day. Good job. And then lastly, do you know what an equinox is?
Yes. It's a day where the sun hits like the exact line of the equator. And it's the equal of the day.
Man,
Equal
that's awesome.
night and day.
All right.
I listened, Dad.
I'm impressed. So did you learn a lot?
Yes.
Were seasons boring to talk about? Wait, no. We're not doing your song. Were seasons boring to talk about or fun to talk about? Little of both. Better than you thought.
Way too much.
But better than you thought it was going to be, I would imagine, right? Okay, cool. Parents, if you're out there and want some resources, I went to the Farmer's Almanac and looked at stuff. I went to NASA, has some good kids stuff. If your kids are interested in this stuff, just Google it and just see what you come up with. It's a kind of fun to take these boring topics and make them sort of connected with kids, right?
Yeah.
Now you can impress all your friends at school, okay?
Yeah.
All right, so if you like what we do, make sure to tune in every week. We do this about once a week, about 20 minutes. Learn something, grab your kids, let them learn something to impress their friends, okay?
Subscribe.
But in the meantime, thank you for joining the Daddy
Daughter.
Dance. Have a good week, everybody. See you later.
Subscribe.